this gets a little bit tricky. It's your particular life that's of concern here. The reader, the individual reader's life that's of concern here. We had a little, every year I organize a kind of little international seminar on the Lotus Sutra with different scholars from all over the world. And the one we had most recently, a very famous Japanese scholar, said to the seminar that the central point of the Lotus Sutra is the idea of the teaching of universal salvation. He's not the first to say that. A lot of people have said that. A lot of people think it's true. And since he's a very famous guy and very nice guy, I didn't want to embarrass him in front of the others, so I didn't say anything about it. But afterwards, during the coffee break, I went up and said to him, and I said, really, you know, it's not correct. The Lotus Sutra is not primarily concerned about universal salvation. The Lotus Sutra is really concerned primarily about your salvation. Your salvation, yours and yours and yours. And it uses the idea of universal salvation to try to persuade you that you can't get out of this. That you have within you the power to be a bodhisattva and a Buddha for others. And the fact that the idea, the teaching, or the doctrine that that's true for everybody is not what's of concern, of primary concern to the Lotus Sutra. That doctrine is secondary to the, what should we say it, the emphasis on your salvation or your liberation. Well, maybe we can go on. The Lotus Sutra also thinks or teaches that the work of the Bodhisattva, the work that needs to be done, the work that's done by these guys who emerged from the earth, this kind of work is not something you can do all by yourself. This is always something that's done in relation to others. So while the Lotus Sutra is concerned about your particular liberation and salvation, it's also concerned about the person you're relating to, the person that you're teaching. And so it's basically, one of the things it basically wants to say is that if you share the Dharma in any way, if you're committed to the Buddhist path, and you want to share the Dharma in any way, don't just try to fill people with doctrines. You have to give them your compassion and your love, and use the doctrines simply as support for that. This is not such a great image of it on the screen, but it's okay. This Buddha of ours stands. And the reason it's standing is to say in a way that, yes, the Lotus Sutra is concerned about our minds, concerned about our hearts, but it's even more concerned about our hands and our feet. How we live our everyday lives, especially how we live our everyday lives in relation to others. This means that while this sutra is always about you, it's also always about the person in front of you, the one with whom you share the Dharma, the one for whom you can be a bodhisattva. So for me, a basic starting point of understanding or appreciating the Dharma Flower Sutra is to see, well, in my case, it is to see that it was written for me. And for you, it is to see that it was written for you. Not for some monks back in India 2,500 or 2,000 years ago. That's not the purpose. Some scholars think that. But I think that the sutra really is addressing itself to us. Its purpose is to transform you, to move you, to have you become its follower in a way, to have you become a follower of Buddha Dharma, to have you become a bodhisattva doing the Buddha's work in this world, to have you be on the path to becoming a Buddha yourself, to have you be a flowering of Buddha Dharma. In the Dharma Flower Sutra, this purpose is conveyed in a wide variety of stories and images, like the lotus flower image itself. But it's the teachings that we drag out of it, kind of kicking and screaming. The teachings are really used just to support this purpose. The Dharma Flower Sutra is not just some obscure doctrines or teachings from the past. It's very much, it's telling us, alive in the present, a flowering of Buddha Dharma now and for you. In chapter 12 of the Lotus Sutra, a bodhisattva by the name of Accumulated Wisdom says, I have observed that in the whole world, there is not even a spot as small as a mustard seed where the Buddha has not laid down body and life as a bodhisattva for the sake of the living. The Dharma Flower Sutra has to do not so much with understanding Buddhist teachings, but with laying down body and life so that flowers might bloom. The Dharma Flower Sutra wants you to blossom and bloom, wants you to be the most beautiful flower in the whole universe. In that flowering, in you, others may see the Buddha, or perhaps see the Guanyin Pusa, who is also the Buddha. May your understanding and your sharing of the Dharma not be merely about doctrines or so-called teachings, but a sharing that enables people to see, so that by seeing, they too will become beautiful stupas and bodhisattvas, the Buddha's flowers. For whenever you nourish people, help them to blossom, help others to blossom, you are, I was going to say you are like, but in a sense you really are the stupa that emerges from the earth whenever the truth emerges. It's truly trod and is truly embraced. And you are a bodhisattva who emerges whenever the Buddha's work needs to be done. You are the Buddha's flowers and the Buddha's flowering in this world of today. Thank you very much.